Okay, so get this. We've got this venture capital firm, right? Barely a year old, and they're dropping a cool $1 million on tech startups in Calgary.
Wow.
Not Silicon Valley, Calgary.
Right.
And it's like July
Yeah.
2021.
Oh, wow.
The world's still kind of reeling from the pandemic. Wow.
Wild, right.
Yeah.
So that's what we're diving into today, Allied Venture Partners. And you found some really interesting articles about them. And it really shows, like, what's going on in the tech world outside of, Silicon Valley.
Right. And what's so fascinating about this particular article is that it's written by, like, it's not just like some flashy headline.
Yeah.
It's actually Matthew Wilson. He's the founder of Allied Venture Partners.
Right.
And he's laying it all out there
Yeah.
about their first $1 million invested.
And you can tell he's pumped, right? Oh, yeah. It's contagious. You can feel his excitement.
Exactly. That's what grabbed my attention, too.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like, a boring press release.
Right.
It's like, here's our mission.
It's a story.
Yeah, exactly. And they keep mentioning this outside-in model. What's the deal with that? Is that just, like, fancy VC jargon?
It's more than jargon. I think it's actually a pretty good way to describe imagine, like, building a bridge, right?
Okay.
From, like, the heart of Silicon Valley to the Canadian prairies.
Okay.
That's kind of what they're doing. They're bringing, like, the experience, like, seasoned investors, people who have, been at Google, Amazon, even these unicorn startups, right?
Yeah.
And they're connecting them with all this amazing untapped potential.
Untapped potential, yeah.
Okay.
The innovation that's happening in Western Canada.
So they're like venture capital matchmakers.
Yes.
Instead of swiping right on dating profiles.
Exactly.
It's like investors checking out startups.
Totally. And I think the key here is, you've got all of this experience.
Yeah.
It's not just about throwing money at a problem.
Right.
It's about, like, they're bringing all of this knowledge and, connections and everything else. It's so valuable.
Yeah. That's huge for these young companies, especially.
Huge. To navigate,
It's cutthroat out there.
It is.
It's like, the Wild West, but with computers.
Yeah, totally.
So for investors in Western Canada, this has got to be like, I don't know, getting, like, backstage passes to the hottest show in town.
Absolutely.
Because you're talking about, maybe they're used to investing in, I don't know, more traditional industries.
For sure, yeah.
And then Allied VP comes along and says,
hey, want in on the next big thing?
Yeah.
Get in on the ground floor.
Exactly.
Work with the best in the business. Like, how do you say no to that?
It's a game changer. I mean, it's not even just about diversifying your portfolio. Yeah. It's about, like, leveling up your game as an investor.
You're learning from the best.
You're learning from the best.
Okay, so we've got, like, the Silicon Valley veterans, eager investors, and all this potential in Western Canada.
Yeah.
But how's Allied VP bringing this all together? They mention a scout program.
Okay.
What is that? They're like talent scouts for startups.
Totally. Like scouting for the next tech superstar, right?
Yeah.
Instead of a hockey stick, it's lines of code.
Right.
But yeah, they're out there identifying these startups.
Okay, so they found them. Now what?
Well, they've got this network, right? Over 700 global investors. Can you imagine?
Wow. That's a lot of zeros in one room.
It's like, you're a startup founder, you're hungry.
Yeah.
And suddenly you're pitching to, like, the who's who of the tech world.
It's Shark Tank, but, like, on a whole other level.
Exactly.
It's not just about the money, though.
No, you're absolutely right. It's about mentorship.
Okay.
It's about guidance. Because, let's be honest, the tech world, it's a jungle out there.
Oh, yeah. It's easy to get lost.
So they're not just giving them the money and saying, see ya.
Right.
They're, giving them the tools, the connections.
They need support.
Yeah, exactly.
This all kind of ties back to something we talked about earlier. This whole idea of Western Canada, especially Alberta, becoming this, like, global AI and ML hub, Is that for real or is that just hype?
No, I think there's something to it for sure. I mean, look, Alberta, for a long time, it was all about oil and gas, right?
Right.
But there's this shift happening.
Okay.
And it's being driven by this, like, entrepreneurial spirit.
Interesting.
Because if you think about it, the energy sector,
Yeah.
it's all about solving complex problems,
Right.
pushing boundaries.
Right. Makes sense.
And those skills, they translate to tech.
So it's like they're taking that grit,
Yes.
and putting it into the digital world.
Exactly. Plus, you've got these amazing universities
Oh, yeah, world class.
pumping out these grads who know AI, machine learning.
Yeah, they're hungry.
They're ready to work. And it's more affordable than Silicon Valley.
That's a big draw, for sure.
Right. So you combine all that. It's like a recipe for like a tech boom.
It's all coming together, eh?
It really is. And Allied VP, they're at the forefront.
They're making it happen.
Yeah.
It's like they just knew, right, that the prairies were like this gold mine, this tech gold mine.
They saw the potential because sometimes that's all it takes, right?
Yeah, someone to say, hey, this is a good idea.
Exactly. And this article, it's just a small piece of the puzzle, but it says a lot about what's happening out west.
Totally. Yeah. And it gets you thinking, you know?
Yeah.
What else is out there? Somewhere in, like, a basement in Calgary.
Right.
Someone's got the next big thing.
Absolutely. And that's what I love about this.
Yeah.
It's not just about the money. It's about creating a space for these ideas to grow.
Yeah. Giving them what they need to succeed.
Exactly. That's what Allied VP is doing with the Scout program, the investors. It's like they're building something special.
It's huge. And the impact, it's not just in tech, right?
No, absolutely not.
We're talking jobs, the economy, like changing the world stuff.
Exactly. This is about using technology to make things better.
Yeah. For everyone. Okay, so for anyone listening who's feeling inspired right now, maybe they're sitting on like the next $1 million app idea. What's your advice to them? What's like step one?
Honestly, don't be afraid to dream big.
Love it.
The tech world, it needs that. But then do your research, make connections, never stop learning.
Yeah, put in the work.
Exactly. Remember, Allied VP, they started somewhere too.
That's true. They had an idea, and look at them now.
Yeah, and now they're changing the game.
It's amazing. Well, this has been fantastic.
It has.
A real eye-opener into what's happening in Western Canada.
For sure.
And, who knows what the future holds, but it's looking bright.
Very bright.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of tech, venture capital, and the incredible things brewing right here in our own backyard.